So, who were the Mabel men?
Well, to talk about them, I had to talk about Mabel Walker Willenbrandt, who was appointed by President Warren Harding to be the Assistant Attorney General of the United States in 1921. And to me, she was a fascinating character. She was also a character on Boardwalk Empire, Esther Randolph, if anybody remembers that. And she was only 32 years old, 5 years out of law school, and had never prosecuted a single case in her career when she was hired. And I think it's fair to say that her bosses at the Department of Justice and in the White House, this was Warren Harding's Ohio gang, a notoriously corrupt group of politicians, just thought, well, let's put the little lady in there. She's going to be overwhelmed. She's not going to know what she's doing. But she takes her oath of office in the fall of 1921 and just begins kicking butt. George Remus is her first big case. And her primary Mabelman, they called the agents that worked under her purview Mabelmen, was a man by the name of Franklin Dodge, who would become very intimately involved in Remus's life.
I don't know if I'd employ an agent named Dodge.
Yes, it's almost if I had written it as fiction, I would have gotten called out for being too unbelievable.
And she was extremely good at her job and just one of the brightest legal minds probably of her time.
Yeah.
But there wasn't even a glass ceiling back then. It was like solid steel.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, she had to deal with rampant sexism. Her diaries and letters were full of complaints about how she just wished people would forget about her sex and focus on her work. Everybody was commenting on her facial features and her body and how she was just a little bit too plump and the cut of her dress, and it was very infuriating for her. And she was also really bothered by the fact that she was understandably nearly deaf. And she spent every morning fashioning her hairstyle so that it covered her hearing aids. She did this for an hour. She was really terrified, I think, of her male colleagues who were already judging her pretty harshly in the press, of judging her again for another handicap. And she didn't want anybody to know that she also was dealing with that hardship.
And her personal life was dragged in the media, which she really did not like.
No, she was divorced her husband. She was sort of pioneering in that. She left him. She moved in with a female friend from law school. She adopted a child on her own. And she was somebody who just was tough. She took an ice cold bath every morning to give you a little insight into her personality. Her favorite saying was, "Life has few petted darlings." And my favorite anecdote, I think, from her entire life is when she was a kid, she once bit a pet cat's ear. And to teach her a lesson, her father bit her ear back. So she learned the quid pro quo and punishment pretty early on.
Yeah, she believes in immediate justice.
Yes, exactly.